Imagine sitting at your kitchen table on a quiet Tuesday morning, holding a letter from Centrelink. Your pension is $1,144.40 per fortnight. You've been getting that amount, and you've budgeted your life around it. But there's a date coming, the 30th of June, 2025, that most Australian pensioners have never heard of. And if you don't act before it arrives, that number on your statement could quietly shrink by 80, 100, even $150 every single fortnight. Not because you did anything wrong, not because the rules changed on you overnight, but simply because a 2-year freeze is about to thaw, and the government is not going to ring you up and warn you personally. There are 6 specific things you need to do before August 2026. 6 actions that could protect thousands of dollars in your retirement income. And by the time this video is done, you'll know exactly what they are, in plain English, with real numbers, and a clear plan you can start acting on this week. G'day Australia, I'm James Walker, and welcome back to Aussie Pension Watch, the channel where we cut through the noise and give you straight answers about your pension, your rights, and your money. I spent over 2 decades working as a pension advisor before starting this channel, and my one promise to you has never changed. Clear answers, real numbers, no jargon, no fear. If you're new here, welcome to the family. If you've been watching for a while, good on ya. This one is especially important, so stay right through to the end. Now, if this channel has ever helped you or helped someone in your family make sense of the pension system, I'd love you to do me one small favor. Hit that subscribe button and tap the little bell icon beside it. That way, every time I release a new update, and with everything changing between now and 2026, I'll be releasing them regularly. You'll be the first to know. It costs you nothing, and it genuinely helps this channel reach more Australian seniors who need this information. Right. Let's talk about why the next 12 months matter more than any 12-month period in recent pension history. According to Services Australia, there are currently 2.6 million Australians receiving the age pension. That's a lot of people. And right now, most of them are sitting inside what I call a perfect storm window, a stretch of time between mid-2025 and August 2026, where multiple major changes are happening at exactly the same time. The deeming rate freeze ends. The entire home care system gets overhauled. New superannuation tax rules kick in. Asset test thresholds shift with indexation. And if you're not watching carefully, each of those changes can quietly chip away at your fortnightly payment without a single warning letter hitting your letterbox. The Australian Bureau of Statistics tells us that over a third of Australians aged 65 and over rely on the age pension as their primary source of income. That means for millions of families, people in Toowoomba, in Ballarat, in Newcastle, in Hobart, this isn't abstract policy. It's the difference between paying the power bill at Coles or going without. So let's go through all 6 things, one by one. I'll give you the numbers, I'll give you real examples, and I'll give you the action steps. Here's the first thing I want you to understand, and this is the one that worries me the most. It's what I call the Deeming Cliff, and it arrives on the 30th of June, 2025. Deeming is the method Centrelink uses to estimate how much income your financial assets are earning. Things like your bank savings, your term deposits, your shares. They don't look at what your money actually earns. They apply a fixed rate and assume that's your income. Right now, the lower deeming rate is 0.25% on the first $60,400 of financial assets if you're single, or the first $100,200 for couples. The upper rate is 2.25% on anything above those thresholds. Those rates have been frozen by the government since May 2022. That freeze expires on the 30th of June, 2025. After that date, the government can, and is widely expected to, allow deeming rates to rise, potentially toward the current cash rate. And here's why that matters to your pocket right now. Take Barry, aged 71, from Bendigo. Barry is a homeowner. He gets a part pension, and he has $450,000 sitting in a term deposit at his local Commonwealth Bank branch. Under the current frozen rates, Centrelink deems him to be earning a modest amount of income from that money. But if the upper deeming rate rises from 2.25% to, say, 4% after the freeze ends, Centrelink will assume Barry is earning significantly more income, even if his term deposit rate hasn't moved a cent. That assumed extra income gets run through the income test taper, which reduces his pension by 50 cents for every dollar over the free area threshold of $204 per fortnight. Barry could lose up to $80 per fortnight. That's over $2,000 a year. Gone. Automatically. Without a letter. What most people get wrong here is assuming that deeming rates only matter to wealthy retirees. They don't. They affect anyone with financial assets over the free threshold, and that includes a lot of everyday pensioners who've done the right thing and saved. The action for Barry, and possibly for you, is to speak with a financial information service officer before June 2025 about whether any portion of his savings can be moved into deeming-exempt structures. A prepaid funeral bond, for example, is exempt from deeming up to $15,000 per person, gifting within the allowable limits, $10,000 per financial year, up to $30,000 over 5 years, can also reduce assessable assets. But you need to plan this carefully and well in advance. Now here's the second thing, and this one surprises people every single time I bring it up. Centrelink is using old numbers to value your car, and that could be costing you money right now. When you first applied for the pension or last updated your assets, you told Centrelink what your car, caravan, boat, or motorhome was worth. If that was 3, 4, or 5 years ago, Centrelink is still using that old figure. But vehicles depreciate. A car that was worth $30,000 in 2019 might be worth $12,000 today. And here's the thing. Every $1,000 of ghost asset that Centrelink thinks you still have is reducing your pension by roughly $3 per fortnight through the assets test taper. I know, the paperwork can feel overwhelming. Trust me, you're not alone in putting this off. But this one is genuinely simple. You log into MyGov, navigate to your Centrelink linked services, go to your assets, and update the current market value of your vehicle using the Redbook Valuation Guide, which is free online. Or call 1-32-300 and ask them to help you update it over the phone. For some people, especially those with an older Caravan sitting in the driveway, this single update can add $20, $30, even $40 back to their fortnightly payment immediately. That's real money back in your pocket for 15 minutes of your time. Now, pay attention to this part, because the clock is genuinely ticking on this third one. The 1st of July, 2025 is the launch date for the new Support at Home program. This is a complete replacement of the existing home care package system and the Commonwealth Home Support Program. And if you or someone in your family currently receives home care services or is on a waiting list, this affects you directly. The concern isn't that the new system is necessarily worse. The concern is the transition. Under the existing home care package system, many recipients are locked into co-contribution arrangements and care levels that were assessed years ago. When the new Support at Home program launches, the government has indicated that people already assessed and receiving services will be transitioned across. But if you haven't yet had your ACAT assessment, that's an Aged Care Assessment Team assessment, and you start the process after the 1st of July 2025, you'll enter the new system from the beginning, under potentially different rules and contribution rates. The action here is straightforward. If you think you or a loved one might need home care support in the next year or two, call My Aged Care right now on 1-800-200-422. Get your assessment scheduled before the 1st of July, 2025. Being assessed early doesn't lock you into anything. It simply protects your options. And for a lot of families in regional areas, in places like Townsville or Geelong or Darwin, where waiting lists are already long, getting that assessment on the books now could be the difference between getting support when you need it and being stuck at the back of the queue under a new system. If you're finding this helpful, I want to ask you a quick favor. Drop a comment below this video, even if it's just the word helpful or your first name and the city you're from. It tells YouTube's system that Australians are engaging with this content, and that helps me reach more seniors who genuinely need this information. Go on, I'll wait. Drop that comment. The fourth thing is about the work bonus, and this one is especially relevant for anyone who does a bit of consulting, part-time bookkeeping, or even occasional paid work for family members or neighbors. The work bonus allows pensioners to earn up to $300 per fortnight from employment without it counting against their income test. Better still, any unused portion accumulates in what's called the income bank, and that income bank can hold up to $11,800. Now, that $11,800 limit was boosted from the previous $7,800 limit. But here's what most people miss. If your income bank is sitting full and you're not planning to do any paid work, those credits aren't working for you. And if circumstances change, if you suddenly need to do some paid work or help out in the family business, that bank is there as a buffer. Use it strategically. If you've been avoiding paid work because you are afraid of what it might do to your pension, you may have more room than you think. Call Centrelink on 132-300 and ask specifically about your current income bank balance and how the work bonus applies to your situation. The fifth action is about the Commonwealth Seniors Health Card, and this is one of the most underutilized concessions in Australia. The income limit for singles to hold this card is currently $95,400 per year. That threshold has increased significantly in recent years, meaning many self-funded retirees who were previously ineligible may now qualify. The card gives you access to cheaper medications under the Pharmaceutical Benefits Scheme, your PBS scripts, as well as the energy supplement, which is $14.10 per fortnight for singles, and bulk billed doctor visits at many practices. If you lost eligibility for this card years ago, or were told you didn't qualify, please check again before the next September indexation. Applications can be made through MyGov at my.gov.au or in person at a Services Australia Service Centre. Don't assume the old answer still applies. And the sixth action. This one is for anyone who owns the family home and is considering selling in the next couple of years. The Downsizer contribution allows Australians aged 55 and over to contribute up to $300,000 each. That's $600,000 for a couple DTU into superannuation from the proceeds of selling their home. That money goes into super and sits in a different category for Centrelink asset assessment purposes. But the timing matters. You want to ensure that this process is completed well in advance of any pension review or application, ideally 12 to 18 months before August 2026, to allow the dust to settle on your asset position and for Centrelink to correctly assess your updated circumstances. Speak with a financial information service officer about how your specific situation interacts with both the assets test and the superannuation balance rules before you sign any contracts. Here's exactly what I want you to do this week. First, check your current assets recorded with Centrelink by logging into MyGov at my.gov.au. Navigate to Centrelink and look for the Assets section. Look specifically at your vehicle values, household contents estimate, and any financial assets listed. If anything looks out of date, request an update immediately. Second, call Centrelink on 132-300 and ask them to put a note on your file that you want to review your income and assets before the 30th of June 2025. Ask specifically about how the end of the deeming rate freeze might affect your payment. Ask to speak with a Financial Information Service Officer, FIS for short, if you have more complex questions. This service is completely free. Third, if you or a family member may need home care support at any point in the next few years, log on to myagdcare.gov.au or call 1-800-200-422 today to request an ACAT assessment before the 1st of July 2025. Fourth, review your eligibility for the Commonwealth Seniors Health Card at my.gov.au if you're a self-funded retiree. The income threshold is $95,400 for singles. Many people who were previously ineligible are now eligible. Fifth, if you are doing or planning any paid work, call Centrelink on 132-300 and ask about your current income bank balance under the work bonus scheme. Understand exactly how much you can earn before your pension is affected. Here's something I want to say directly to you, and I mean every word of it. You worked your whole life for this country. You paid your taxes in good faith every year for decades. You raised your families. You built the homes, the businesses, the communities that made Australia what it is today. Whether you're in a flat in Adelaide, a house in Brisbane, a farm outside of Dubbo, or a retirement village on the Gold Coast, you earned every single cent of this pension. It is not charity. It is not a handout. It is a right. And don't ever let anyone, a news headline, a family member, a bureaucratic form, make you feel small for claiming what is absolutely legally and morally yours. Now, of course, every situation is different, and what I share here is general information, not personal financial advice. For your specific circumstances, always speak with a financial information service officer at Centrelink. It's a free service, it's confidential, and most people don't even know it exists. If this video has been useful to you today, please give it a thumbs up. It genuinely helps other Australians find this content when they need it most. Subscribe if you haven't already, and share this one with a mate, a sibling, or an adult child who helps manage a parent's pension affairs. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 6 actions surprised you the most. I read every single one. Next week, I'll be going deep on the September 2025 indexation update, what the new thresholds will mean for part pensioners, and whether you might be entitled to a higher payment than you're currently receiving. You won't want to miss that one. This is James Walker from Aussie Pension Watch. You've earned this, Australia. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.